Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you haven't done so already, smash that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell to stay updated with our latest biblical insights. Today, we're embarking on a deeply meaningful journey titled Heavenly Dialogues. What conversations between God and His people teach us today? Have you ever stopped to ponder how these timeless exchanges could profoundly enrich your faith and spiritual journey amid today's chaotic world? Prepare yourselves, because we're about to uncover invaluable lessons that resonate with the very core of our existence. In the Scriptures, the dialogues between God and individuals offer us a rich understanding of our relationship with the divine. Let's start with perhaps the most iconic conversation: Moses and God at the burning bush, as detailed in Exodus 3:1-12. This pivotal moment unveils God's preference for choosing the ordinary and unassuming shepherd to lead His people from bondage. This teaches us that God often beckons us from our mundane routines, encouraging us to use our unique life stories for His greater narrative. Have you considered how your personal experiences could shape the lives of others in God's plan? Moses' first response is filled with fear and uncertainty. He hesitates, claiming he isn't eloquent and is slow of speech and tongue. Can you relate? Have you ever felt underqualified for a task ahead of you? Like Moses, we experience doubt and insecurity when stepping into divine assignments. Remember, our imperfections do not define us. Rather, they spotlight God's grace, allowing Him to work through us in astonishing and transformative ways. This lesson invites us to recognize the possibilities of our own calling, urging us to reflect on what God might be asking of us today. Are we prepared to respond? Let's transition to another significant dialogue from 1 Samuel 3, where the young Samuel hears God calling him for the first time. This moment in Scripture serves as a powerful reminder. Listening is just as essential as speaking. It's not only about recognizing God's voice amid life's noise, it's about being responsive to that voice. In a world overwhelmed with distractions, what if we intentionally set aside moments each day to connect with that still, small voice of God? Imagine the profound revelations waiting to unfold as God interacts with our fears, hopes, and the intricacies of our lives. Next, we'll explore the heartfelt exchange between Jesus and Peter in John 21:15-17. Jesus asks Peter repeatedly, "Do you love me?" This dialogue encompasses themes of restoration, purpose, and forgiveness. Despite Peter's earlier denial, Jesus doesn't cast judgment. Instead, He entrusts Peter to shepherd His followers, urging him to feed my sheep. This interaction reinforces the idea that God's grace knows no bounds and is accessible even when we falter. It teaches us to view our mistakes as essential steps toward realizing our divine calling rather than insurmountable failures. This prompts us to ask, are we willing to accept God's grace and extend it to ourselves and others? Finally, let's delve into the book of Job, where Job engages in deep conversations with God amid his overwhelming suffering. This narrative teaches us that questioning God doesn't indicate weak faith. Instead, it often signifies an important aspect of our spiritual exploration. Job boldly presents his grievances before God, expressing pain, confusion, and a yearning for answers. While God may not always provide straightforward responses, He ultimately unveils His sovereign nature and infinite goodness, guiding us in the vital art of enduring life's trials. Reflect on this: divine wisdom frequently surpasses our human comprehension, and our willingness to grapple with God can lead to significant spiritual growth. In these rich dialogues, we uncover essential lessons about faith, attentive listening, grace, and resilience. Together, they create a tapestry of our relationship with God that is not static, but dynamic and transformative. As we dive deeper into these biblical examples, let us actively seek ways to incorporate their insights into our daily lives, nurturing our spiritual connections. Are you ready to find your voice in these dialogues? Venturing into the Old Testament, we encounter remarkable displays of God conversing with His people. A prime example is the powerful dialogue between God and Moses in Exodus 3. This decisive moment, where Moses is instructed to lead the Israelites from bondage, transcends mere command. God actively engages Moses by asking him, "What is that in your hand?" This seemingly simple yet profound question encourages profound self-reflection. It suggests that God often utilizes our inherent skills embodied by Moses' simple staff to fulfill his divine purpose. Have you contemplated what God may be asking you to utilize for his glory in your own life? Understanding this dynamic reveals an essential truth. Even during our deepest insecurities, we possess unique offerings for his grand narrative. Furthermore, it encourages us to recognize the value of two-way conversations with God. Prayer is not merely about articulating our thoughts, it's about genuinely tuning ourselves to his voice and will. Have you pondered how you can cultivate a receptive heart in your conversations with God? Moses' initial reluctance mirrors our common hesitations. However, God summons us repeatedly, reassuring us that our perceived limitations do not exclude us from participating in his divine calling. This lesson raises a critical inquiry. How can we develop a heart that is more attuned and sensitive in our conversations with God, heightening our responsiveness to his nudges and callings? Transitioning our focus, 1 Samuel 3 presents us with young Samuel, who confuses God's calling with Eli's voice. This scenario encapsulates another essential truth. God may communicate in ways we don't immediately recognize. It emphasizes the need for spiritual discernment and connection. To amplify this sensitivity, consider engaging in spiritual practices like journaling or meditative prayer, intentionally dedicating time for personal reflection on feelings and divine messages received. We must also acknowledge the emotional depth in Jesus' communication style during his prayers in Gethsemane, as recorded in Matthew 26. Here, Jesus pours out his heart, showcasing vulnerability and transparency while submitting to God's will. This interaction humanizes Jesus while illustrating the balance we should strive for, expressing our honest emotions while remaining receptive to God's guidance in our lives. What might God whisper to us during our moments of vulnerability and raw honesty before him? As we analyze these intimate dialogues, we discover essential practices for our spiritual journey: the art of listening, the authenticity of emotions, and the necessity of vulnerability in our conversations with God. These elements can unlock deeper layers of understanding and relationship, fostering a more profound connection with the divine. Shifting to the New Testament, let's focus on James 1:5, which calls believers to seek wisdom from God and to do so without hesitation. This passage underscores the tremendous value of approaching God with heartfelt requests and an eager heart for understanding. Throughout Scripture, this enduring truth remains clear. Reaching out for divine guidance opens the door to transformative dialogues that deepen our trust and fortify our faith. Collectively, these examples showcase God not as a distant deity, but as a loving, approachable Father. He desires an intimate relationship with us characterized by trust, openness, and a willingness to hear and respond to his transformative plans for our lives. By actively engaging with these biblical conversations, we inspire ourselves and one another to pursue deeper, more meaningful dialogues with God, paving pathways for robust faith amid life's challenges. Let's explore how to bring these teachings into our everyday practices, establishing faith as a vibrant interplay in our lives. Now, let's shift our attention to the book of Job, where dialogues focus significantly on human suffering and divine sovereignty. In Job 1, we witness a profound conversation between God and Satan regarding Job's unfaltering faith amidst trials. This narrative conveys vital theological truths. Our suffering does not inherently reflect our faith or relationship with God. Job's lamentation resonates universally, echoing our collective experiences of doubt and questioning during adversity. As we navigate these dark valleys, Job teaches us the importance of honesty in our spiritual journey, providing a raw template for articulating our struggles. Transitioning to Job 38, God responds to Job with a series of penetrating questions that challenge Job's understanding. This steering conversation propels Job towards a place of humble awe before the mysteries of creation. These divine inquiries serve as a necessary reminder. We are finite beings grappling with the infinite wisdom of God. This crucial lesson reveals that God's silence in our suffering shouldn't be perceived as abandonment. Instead, it often invites us to trust in His incomprehensible goodness and majesty. Grappling with varied challenges, whether mourning the loss of a loved one, facing profound uncertainties, or enduring heartache, Job's experience strikes a poignant chord. His raw honesty in prayer serves as an exemplary model for expressing our grief, frustration, and longing while maintaining unwavering faith. When we actively engage in dialogue with God about our pain, we can experience personal renewal, deepen compassion for ourselves and others, and gain a more profound understanding of His character. Consider the dialogues between Jesus and His disciples during chaotic moments. For instance, Mark 4:35-41 showcases Jesus questioning His disciples. "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" This electrifying interaction confronts our fears and serves as a poignant reminder that profound faith often emerges in chaos. It encourages us to articulate our worries while trusting in God, reinforcing the comforting truth that we're never alone in our spiritual storms. Are we willing to lay our fears before Him, trusting in His power to calm the tempest within and around us? The messages gleaned from Job and Jesus' interactions remind us of God's unwavering presence during our trials. Often, voicing our concerns and inquiries can initiate transformative spiritual journeys, guiding us deeper into relationship and understanding. Our divine human exchanges serve as vital milestones in our faith walk, illuminating our understanding of God's faithful presence even in the darkest times. To cultivate a more robust spiritual connection, consider weaving these enlightening dialogues into your daily prayer practices. Share your joys, victories, and milestones with God. Equally, disclose your struggles, questions, and fears. This openness fosters rich communication, deepening your understanding of His responses and ultimately solidifying your faith. As you approach prayer, remember to think beyond mere requests. Engage in life-giving exchanges with your Creator, anticipating the wisdom and insights He has for you. Exploring the dialogues found throughout the Bible reveals countless insights regarding divine intentions and human vulnerabilities. Take Moses, for instance. In Exodus 3, when God calls him to liberate the Israelites, he hesitates, expressing deep concerns about his own inadequacy. This dialogue illustrates a powerful truth. God's call often emerges amid our insecurities, reminding us that feelings of unworthiness do not disqualify us from serving His divine purpose. Examining the intricate discussions in the book of Job helps us appreciate the complex nature of human suffering. Job's discourse with his friends and God unveils crucial insights. God doesn't respond directly to Job's probing inquiries. Instead, He encourages Job to contemplate the vastness of existence. This profound interaction compels us to confront our struggles while bearing in mind that suffering can lead us toward greater faith, resilience, and understanding, inviting us to seek comprehension over immediate answers. Moreover, the conversations between Jesus and His disciples unveil essential teachings that resonate deeply in our lives today. For example, when Peter boldly identifies Jesus as the Messiah in Matthew 16, Jesus not only affirms Peter's insight but introduces the vital concept that suffering leads to glory. This exchange illuminates a profound truth. Spiritual wisdom often springs from dialogue, affirming the transformative power of engaging in meaningful conversations that involve questioning, learning, and growing from our shared experiences. As we thoughtfully reflect on the essence of these dialogues, it becomes increasingly clear that they offer endless lessons guiding us in our spiritual journeys. Key themes arise, including the importance of engaging with God vulnerably, the necessity of community discussions, and how profound spiritual truths emerge through contemplative conversations. It's within these honest exchanges, whether with God in prayer or with others in fellowship, that our faith roots deepen, propelling us forward through life's complexities. The insights gathered from these biblical conversations not only clarify our understanding of God's character, but also illuminate our paths. As we actively choose to engage in dialogue with Him, we nurture our hearts for greater intimacy with the divine. Through these dialogues, we create avenues for growth and transformation, guiding ourselves and others toward deeper communal faith. So, how can we weave these dialogues into our daily routines? Now, how can we choose to actualize these timeless lessons in our modern lives? Consider initiating your own heavenly dialogues with God. Begin by cultivating a personal habit of prayer that feels conversational and intimate. Approach God candidly, pouring out your fears, doubts, and hopes just like you would with a close friend. This practice invites profound insights, strengthens your connection with the divine, and transforms each prayer moment into a life-changing experience. Journaling serves as a powerful spiritual tool, allowing you to document your struggles, questions, and reflections that arise in your conversations with God. Create a reflective space to sift through emotions and the spiritual insights received in return. This practice lends clarity and comfort as you navigate life's challenges, making those fleeting moments of divine communication more tangible and enriching. Moreover, engage deeply in discussions with fellow believers. Sharing experiences, testimonies, and personal insights about faith mirrors these biblical dialogues, fostering communal support and collective discovery. These exchanges uplift not only yourself but also your community, enhancing collective faith and fortifying spirits during challenging times. The power of community and spiritual growth is immeasurable. Just as Jesus guided His disciples through intimate conversations, we can inspire and uplift one another through sincere dialogue rooted in Scripture and shared life experiences. Consider establishing a new tradition of prayer within your group, allowing everyone to contribute, pose questions, and reflect on spiritual teachings together. This practice nurtures an environment where mutual support and learning thrive, enabling each participant to deepen their understanding of God. Ultimately, it's through these communal efforts that we build each other up, reflecting God's heart in our daily interactions. How might this shift in practice transform your community's faith journey? Reflect on the impact of such commitment, making open discussions, a vital part of your fellowship, can stir genuine interest in exploring each other's faith experiences. As you embark on this collective journey, think of how these honest dialogues might empower each individual to find their voice, integrate each other's narratives, and grow closer to God together. Finally, let's embrace the understanding that each dialogue depicted in the Bible serves a unique and transformative purpose. They unequivocally remind us that God seeks a sincere relationship, not mere rituals. Our connections both with the divine and with each other paramount. He invites us into discourse that transcends mere speech. It encompasses genuine listening, understanding, and active responses to His divine calls. As we draw this exploration to a close, I encourage you to actively seek these heavenly dialogues in your daily life. Be watchful for those subtle whispers within your heart and the nuggets of wisdom that arise through various interactions, whether through reading Scripture, engaging in prayer, or participating in community discussions. Embrace the understanding that every conversation with God presents opportunities for personal growth, renewed hope, and ultimately a more profound connection with your Creator. Allow these fresh insights to illuminate your path, inspiring you to live out your faith with fervor and grace, ultimately reflecting the divine conversations woven throughout Scripture into your daily lives. The journey into deeper understanding starts now. Let us each take a step forward in recognizing the sacredness of these dialogues, cultivating a faith where both listening and speaking to God becomes the fabric of our very lives. As we close, make a commitment to engage fully with God in your daily conversations, actively seeking His presence in your life.